Hello, hello. My name is Nobody Is There. Jonas, Lazy Lion. How you doing, guys? DK. And everyone's missing. I'm still waiting for Oliver. So, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Long time no speak.
I'm doing fine.
I don't know if it's just me, but you sound very soft.
What? Wait, I need to get my microphone fixed as per usual.
Hello?
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Give me a quick second to fix my mic.
Sure. Mad Hatter, how you doing? Can you hear
I'm
me?
good, dude. I'm good. How are you? How's your day been?
It's been good. It's been very good. Yep.
Excited for this conversation. It's going to be good to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been appreciating all your input over the past week or so, and it's been good. You've been very helpful. So
Pleasure.
definitely giving us a fire under our feet a little bit, So I appreciate that.
Absolute pleasure. It's been good to see how you guys have progressed, and I look forward to diving into it.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't know if David is still having problems with his mic. I'll take that as a yes.
What about now?
That's better.
Thank God. Does Yanni also want to speak? Come up on stage?
Let me see.
I mean, if he wants, he can raise his hand and we can bring him up. The more the better on the stage, right? Giving Mad Hatter a hard time.
Okay, he'd rather not. He will eventually, though.
So, who do I see in the audience? Oh, the film perspective. How you doing? See a lot of familiar faces, of course. Craig is starting. Yes, cool. Should we get started, Mad Hatter? Or
yes, sir.
Alrighty, let's get it going. You also ready, Oliver?
What's that?
Are you also ready?
Yes, sir. Yep, let's do it.
Okay. So, hello, everyone. Thanks to you all for coming. Welcome to ThePillars. We are a community-led space aimed at supporting protocols and educating our investors for intelligent, meaningful conversation. Here we ask the tough questions you all want answered. And now, let me introduce again One with their founder, Oliver. We already spoke to One. It wasn't even not even like 2 weeks ago or something, right?
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. So, out of the people returning, you came, you were the ones who came back fastest. So
yeah. Lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of stuff has happened, right? A lot of stuff to talk about. I catch up with you again. So, also want to talk about the giveaway that we have going on. We have $100 BUSD giveaway. How we're going to do it this time is that we're going to do 4 giveaways for $25, which of course is getting announced randomly at some point. You of course you also have to be a part of the One Discord, which is going to be shared later. But yeah, again, thanks for coming. Also, thanks for Oliver for coming, and I hope everyone enjoys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you in. And what I'm most excited about is actually this intro, because I know we've got a bunch of people in here that I'm sure have come already over from your community, and they heard the last Q&A, but I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and introduce the OneToken. Reason being is I'm really curious to hear how your explanation of what the OneToken is from your point of view has changed from the last time you and I spoke.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, my name is Oliver, and I'm the founder of OneToken. It is a deflationary token. We started out with a total supply of 1 million tokens, and there's no mint function in our contract, so that means there can never be more tokens minted. And what we did from day one was we started burning tokens. So we have from the beginning had less than 1 million in circulating supply, and now we have a lot less than 1 million. And there's just a 1% tax on all buys, sells, and transfers. And that tax is broken up into half of it goes to buyback and burning the token to a null wallet. And then the other half of that tax goes to building up the liquidity. So those are the two things we're working on right now, because we believe they'll help with price appreciation the most. And we're doing a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, and we're going to get into the other stuff that you guys are doing. Just for information, how many tokens have you guys burnt to date?
Let me see. So I can get you the exact number. It is 388,867.
Which is a massive amount. I mean, we'd kind of dipped into this a little bit last time. Having burnt that amount at this stage with how young you are is huge. How much of a strength do you guys think that is for you?
I think it's huge because just it's visually, I think it really strikes people when they first join our Discord and they see that. They see our circulating supply is only 611,000 tokens right now, and we're always burning, like we're burning more every day, and we have plans to burn, a lot more. So I think, I think it is our one of our main strengths right now, and also the low tax makes entry and swing trading, if that's your thing, it makes all of that easy, and yeah, people can see where it's going. I think that's important too.
Right. Yeah, since we last spoke, your price has almost doubled, right? I mean, you guys have been doing extraordinarily well over the last few days and weeks. What do you think is the main contributor to that?
Probably lucky. That's my team member, by the way. No, it is just we're doing everything we can to build on our ecosystem. Like we're partnering up with people. We've got several different partners already. We are working on building like some incredible utility for OneToken. We're doing things so quickly. At the same time, we're keeping the community and the Discord like really hyped, because we do giveaways like on a daily basis. We just did an invite competition, and right now we've got a price competition. If the price gets up to $1.40, we're going to give away some tokens. Mm-hmm. So we're just always pushing it, and I think the community is being super supportive and very responsive to everything, and they believe in what we're doing. So
right. Your community is definitely playing a very large part, right?
Oh yeah. They've been tremendous.
Yeah, it's very noticeable that you have a strong community that have rallied around you, and you guys have managed to bring in people that are buying into the ethos of what you guys are all about. And one of those people that bought into it was Serenity, right? And last time we spoke, he jumped up on stage. He was interested in having a conversation with you, and just that chance interaction kind of snowballed and really gave you an opportunity to create quite an impressive partnership that you guys have.
Yeah. Yes, Cyril.
What other things are you working? Talk me through that partnership and its impact that it's had on you, and what other things that you guys might be working on in the background. And I am going to try and twist your arm for some alpha at some point today. So I appreciate you're probably going to get out of telling me too much now, but I'll come back to it later.
So yeah, when Serenity reached out on the first AMA I did with you, that led to me doing an AMA with him just like a few days later, that Friday, and that's where I met Cyril from Only Burns, and he's the founder of Only Burns, and he was literally there for the entire 3-hour AMA, which is by far the longest I've ever done any kind of live talk with anybody. So it was really cool. We had a lot of fun, and I got to know Cyril, and he got to know me, and from there we've just become friends, and we talk on a daily basis now. And he's been a consultant for us kind of ever since. He's been educating our community. He even has he has a couple of channels actually in our Discord. He's got Cyril's Corner, where he posts information on topics that the community wants to know about. And then he also opened up an AMA spot where he actually did like a 3-hour voice AMA on in our Discord one night, just sort of a surprise AMA. That was really cool.
Right.
But yeah, he has also opened up some massive doors for us. So not only are we taking part in the current burn war right now on Only Burns, we're in first place, by the way. But he also introduced us to a company called CryptoLink, and they are the ones behind the any-to-any widget that we have on our website right now. So that was huge, and he says he has other people that he wants to introduce me to. So he's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Great, yeah, he absolutely is, and I will come to that any-to-any widget at some point. You mentioned the giveaways. One of the questions I had is that the giveaways are great, and they're certainly great for short-term growth. I think it's a fantastic way to bring people in and really get eyeballs on. At some point, as a protocol, especially if you want to be taken serious, you're going to have to transition a little bit away from those giveaways and encourage new money coming in based on something else. What do you guys believe is going to be at the core of that something else that is really going to drive the investor to say, not only is this something I want to put my money into, but it's something I want to put my money into and then hold it for some time while I encourage others to come and do the same thing?
Well, our goal, my vision, and my team's vision has been for a while now to be a major hub for crypto to off ramp, because right now we with our any-to-any widget, you can trade to one token from any blockchain. But then we're also we have one off ramp right now, which is Spritz Finance. They are only in the U.S. currently, but they are working on being in the rest of the world, of course. But they are a very easy and seamless off ramp, so you don't need to go to a centralized exchange. You can just go right through the link that we have to Spritz Finance. It's on our website. So that's one off ramp, and we are going to have a second off ramp very soon, which is and you're not gonna have to KYC with this off ramp, so it's going to be completely anonymous, decentralized off ramping, and I think that is going to be a huge deal. And I can tell you, personally, I hate having to off ramp through a centralized exchange. It's always a pain in my butt, and it takes so long. And with this new off ramp technology that's coming out, it's just making it quick and simple and cheap. I mean, the fees are dirt cheap, and it's just, I think it's going to be massive for us in the future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, certainly being able to use one to off ramp or on ramp is going to be great for you guys. At what point are you really going to start to implement that and push that out? I know it's a relatively new partnership. I know you guys have other things that you're also working on in the background. And this kind of the announcement almost flew under the radar. And I did see some of the community members saying, listen, why aren't we making more of this? So I guess, what is it you guys are going to do to really push out the information that, you know, people should be hearing about all of these exciting partnerships and how pivotal they are for you?
Yeah, so our widget was just added yesterday, and it's been working perfectly well for a lot of people, and then some people have been saying that they're having trouble connecting to it. So we've been kind of troubleshooting it a little bit for the past 24 hours, and that's why we haven't made some really big announcements just yet. We're trying to make it perfect before we do that. It is working. But some people, for some reason, are having trouble connecting their wallet or whatever. Like they say, a button doesn't work or something. So we're working with the devs right now to iron out all the kinks. But as soon as we do that, then we're really going to push the marketing on it. And also, as soon as we get all the kinks ironed out, we will work on getting that second off ramp, which is going to be massive. So it's kind of just just getting it all settled in place before we really start pushing it.
Right. At the top of this, you mentioned your team. I think it's important to highlight them because you've spoken very highly of them. You credit them for being real game changers for you and your approach, but they are quite a relatively new team to you, right? You didn't start off with these guys from the offset. They kind of came in subsequently after some things that went on, and you've only been working them for a short while. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So I started with Keith, who's with Calf Token, Cause for the Calves, and then after the issues that came up there, me and Keith parted ways, and Lucky had been there helping me with a lot of things. And I've known Lucky for about a year now because he's been a part of the same community I've been a part of, which is the Seifu Vulcan community. Me and him have been talking in DMs for the past year. So I know Lucky really well. And he was helping me through all the issues that we had at the start. And then Yanni, I've known Yanni for a long time as well. From the same community, and same thing. I've talked to him a lot over the past year, and he showed up and was a terrific mediator in that issue that we had. And so Yanni, being a very trusted member of our community, was the perfect person to be the person that would hold the keys of the contract and the liquidity for OneToken, and that was very helpful in all in the issues that we were having. So the two of them are brilliant and have just a knowledge of things that it has been very helpful to me.
It's always good when I hear someone who sits at the helm that speaks very highly of their team. I do think at times, though, it's important, and especially for investors, that when there are team members that sit in the background, eventually you're going to want to hear from them direct. And I know there's going to be various reasons as to why they may not. When we look at the history of One, at the time that you guys had your issues, there was some sell-offs happening, and a name was thrown around that happens to be one of your team members now. And I think people that are going to go back and do a little bit of research, and a lot of people will because they're serious about their money and where they put it, right? And as we get to the business end of One, I think it's important to have these serious conversations with you. So don't take this personally if you feel I'm squeezing a bit too hard. It's all, aimed at having you kind of give me the most transparent answer you can and really kind of knock the answer out of the park. But when you've got team members that were highlighted in that way, what assurances are you going to give to your community up until the point that they really get to hear from these team members that these guys are not just in it for the long haul, but they are 100% sitting behind the product? And if, for whatever reason, something occurred that might cause a bit of panic, they won't be at the front of the line to offload what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So the person that you were mentioning that everybody noticed the sell that he did was lucky, because he had DCA'd into OneToken after the launch, and he had built up to having like 100,000 tokens at one time. And when the problems started happening in the beginning of OneToken, it was actually Lucky was helping me through it all, because he had noticed the issues as well. And not to go into too many details about that, but he had been helping me through it all. And when the price started to plummet, he actually waited until the price had gone down about 60% before he sold. So there were a lot of people that got to offload before him, and he was just, he didn't know if the protocol was going to survive or not, just like everybody at that time. And so he just took what he could, but he had just invested like everybody else, just little bits at a time, and had just built up to that amount. And when he thought that everything was ending, that was when he sold. But he still did wait for a lot of people to sell before him. So I mean, people. I don't know. I can tell you, like, now, and Yanni. To speak of Yanni bought very early, and he held through everything. He's never sold hardly anything. But I can tell you now, both Lucky and I have bought back in, because I sent all of my tokens to the null, and Lucky had to just start buying again from scratch. And he has just a much smaller amount. And now that, he knows that things are on level ground and things are solid now, he has no intentions of selling anytime soon. And
Right.
so, yeah, I mean, I would not worry at all about the team, because we believe very strongly in what we're doing, and we see all the things that are happening in the background. So,
Which I think is great. I think it's great that people believe strongly in what's happening. And interestingly enough, Serenity and I are going to have a debate at some point with the other pillars on a live about doxing. We do live in an age where doxing is becoming increasingly more important for some people. We know that Prado and Fowler, for example, debated very recently with you on how important doxing is. How important is it going to be to you that your team members eventually put, even if it's not a face, a voice to the project? In the early days, a couple of weeks ago, I heard Yanni speak. I have never heard Lucky speak. And I think it's important at some point that they do have to step up and just take that leap and really sit down with the community to say, not only are we here, but we're here to stay. Do you find it important, and do you guys have any plans for that to happen as you guys start to grow and as your price continues to move upwards?
yeah. So Lucky has told me that he will eventually do lives with me, do AMAs with me. He just said right now he can't, for professional reasons, and I don't know, like, what those reasons are. It has something to do with his work. And as Yanni, I mean, we've heard him talk before, and we see his picture in his avatar, or his whatever image on Discord. And the only reason Yanni doesn't do more lives with me is just for just some stuff that he's working on right now. But he will be ready to do them with me soon. And Lucky does plan to do them eventually. He's just not at the moment. He can't just yet.
Right. No, I think that's fair. And do you give a cutoff point from your before we move on? It'll be the last question I ask on this particular point. Do you give a cutoff point to these team members? Because at the end of the day, your name, your face, and it's your full name. Your face is very much tied with OneToken. It's your baby. It's what you wanted to create. You've come through adversity. I imagine you're going to want to do everything you can to protect this as best you can, and therefore protect, the investors that are continuing to grow. And, you've got 2,000 odd members in your Discord now. Last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, if everybody bought in, you'd have a lot of investors then looking to you for guidance. Do you kind of give a cutoff by which you say, right, guys, at this point, we really are going to need to show a kind of united front of professionalism. I'm going to need you guys there, and if you're not there by this point, things need to change just so that we can make sure everyone is fully protected.
No, I don't really, I haven't really come up with a cutoff point, and um, I I don't know. I know exactly the reasons why they Lucky hasn't doxed yet, and I know the stuff that Yanni's kind of going through at the moment. So and I see also how much they're helping me and helping the community. So like I haven't felt the need to be hard on them in any way. They're like of their own volition, without being compensated in any way, because we're not taking any money. And all the money we make from the NFT sales right now, and any passive income that we receive in the future, is going to be going back into the project. So they're doing all this for free. And they've been tremendous. So no, I haven't really demanded anything of them. They've done all this just voluntarily.
Okay. I look forward to kind of seeing it, when you guys do, or when they do eventually join you. I look forward to tuning in. I think it's, especially as a business, and essentially this is a business. Being voluntary is fantastic, and it's really good that they're giving everything back to the community. But especially when you are responsible for the movement of a token, and the further you guys go down this wonderful rabbit hole of success, the more influential your team members will become on the movement of that token, as we've seen in many other projects. I think it then becomes super important that they stand by what it is that effectively they're helping to create, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that I'm sure it would be fun for them to be getting some credit as well, because I've been taking it all.
Well, you can continue to lap it up for a little while longer. And talking about credit, we spoke about the other partnerships that you guys might have coming down the pipeline. What else is there to talk about in terms of those partnerships?
Oh man, they like. I can't even tell you some of the stuff we're working on, but it's crazy. I mean, every day, the stuff that Lucky is telling me, and Yanni, is blowing my mind. I don't think I can share all the stuff I've heard today with you guys just yet, but like, think about like.
You're gonna have to give me some information. Tell both Lucky and Yanni to stay out of your DMs for 5 minutes. Close it down so you can't see what they're messaging you in the background, and give me a little summon.
All right. So OneToken could potentially bring peace to the Middle East. All right, and by that I mean Seifu's arch nemesis could potentially become a huge part of what we're doing. And I mean that playfully, because I think they're no longer at odds. But at one point they were very competitive with each other, and they could potentially be becoming simpatico. And I don't want to throw a name out, but I think the community knows who I'm talking about. And I think if I say any more, I'm going to get in big trouble. But we could be bringing some big communities together, and like Lucky is the one that's like facilitating and talking to people, but like OneToken is going to be the one doing it. So it's going to be exciting, and that's just one of the communities where like he's talking to two massive communities right now. And they're very receptive to talking to me and becoming partners with OneToken. And we've already got 3 partners that I can mention by name.
We mention them.
Yeah, we've got technically 4 partners. So we've got Spritz Finance, which I already mentioned. We've got Vamp Token, which is a drip style token that is going to launch on Vulcan blockchain in a little while. We've got CryptoLink, who's behind the Any to Any widget, and we've got Prisma Finance, who I'm going to be doing an AMA with on Saturday, actually. Nice. They are our newest partner. We just joined up with them yesterday, and we've been in talks with them about some. Oh my gosh! If I could tell you the things we're talking about with them, it would blow people's minds.
There's no one listening right now. It's just you and I.
Okay. All right.
What are they talking about? Tell us. Tell me, not us. No one's here. Again, stay out of your DMs. Otherwise, I'm bringing both Lucky and Yanni up on stage immediately.
It's oh man, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting. So we're in talks with Prisma Finance about some stuff, and I can't give any details because I will get in big trouble. But it's exciting, and we'll bring it to the community as soon as we can.
Sure, and I look forward to seeing that. And rather hilariously, the first sign of perhaps being brought up on stage, Lucky left immediately. So. He's already running, right? One of the questions that everybody is also going to have in terms of bag holders is you guys have some very supportive community members at the moment. You have people that are willing to put a lot of money in. They also hold very large bags. Now, what do you kind of have in place that stops them from having the ability to influence any decisions that you as a team might want to make based on the size of their bag? And I ask this because, the community that shall not be named, the one that you came from that begins with an S and ends in U, they often noticed that people would be able to sometimes get away with murder almost when they had large bags. And I know that because I was one of those people. I held a very large bag and I was able to say things that a lot of other members were not, simply because of that. Now, at times, I could be disruptive with that, with that ability, and at other times not if I didn't want to be. Are you going to put anything in place to ensure that you really do kind of have that divide, that we love you because you are supporting us? Thank you so much for giving your money and faith to us. But at the same time, we understand it's a free market. If you want to sell, you want to sell. But we can't be influenced simply because you're holding a big bag.
Yeah. So the two biggest holders are actually Yanni, my team member, and my friend Tiki Barman. Mm-hmm. Tiki Barman has said time and again that he is holding strong, and he has no intentions of selling anytime soon until the liquidity builds up, which is a smart thing, to be honest. And as far as other, I know of some other big holders, and they seem perfectly happy to just hold because they see where we're going. They see that we're not taking our foot off the gas at all. And they just see what we're doing. They believe in the team. I can tell you that Yanni is a genius when it comes to the tech aspect, and Lucky is a genius when it comes to the partnership aspect and the outreach and the marketing. So it's like they believe in this team, and they see us in the Discord talking to them every day. And I think that they are very comfortable holding and just waiting. We've had not very many big sells, to be honest with you. We had a decent sized one last night, but it caused a decent dip down to like 88 cents, I think, but it got eaten up in about an hour and a half or so. Nice. But as far as those people having any influence on me, I take a very simple approach in that I'm going to just be honest. And people don't sometimes know what I mean by that. It means that, like, my integrity is not going to be up for sale. Like, there's nothing I'm going to do for an amount of money if it's dishonest. And that's not from me. That credit goes to someone else. But I'm just honest. And so there's not going to be anybody behind the scenes telling me what to do just because they have a big bag. I can tell you nobody is trying to, but even if they did try to, I'm sure it would backfire in some way on them. I don't even know how. It wouldn't be anything I would do to them. So yeah, that's what I'll say about it.
I'm going to circle back to that influence, because there is someone who I believe initially did try to influence and failed. And in essence, I think backtracked on their thought process, and wisely so. And I'm keen to know how you're going to navigate that particular person moving forward. Before that, you bring up this honesty, and I believe you are always honest, yes. I've said this to you privately. I'm not afraid to say it during a Q&A that I think perhaps you are too honest at times. Because I think this space, people react very emotionally to very small things, and one or two things can trigger them that they either take out of context, or they misunderstand, or they don't know you well enough to understand the direction you're coming from. Are you aware of that? And are you starting to try and maybe change the standard of delivery of your information to make sure that you are always honest, but not necessarily so honest that you're giving too much away? Except for obviously the alpha that we're going to get today.
Well, I can tell you, if I don't know something, I'm not going to be as open about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna. The thing is, like, I don't know everything, but when I don't know something, I know where to go for the information, and
Nice.
and I definitely lean hard on people who know more than me, and obviously hire people for different things that I don't know how to do. Obviously we hired CryptoLink to do this widget for us. We didn't know how to create that, so.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be a little less open about my issues that I have, my shortcomings here and there. I'll keep them to myself a little more.
I know what you're referencing, and that wasn't what I was referencing, but I do think it raises a very good point, and it leads me almost perfectly into my next question, which is, what is your appetite for learning in this space? I think, I've noticed, and I've said again this to you privately, and I will commend you for it openly here too, that your delivery of information has changed enormously. The manner with which you're speaking, the manner with which you speak on a lot of the topics, the manner with which you address the audience or myself as the host, as the interviewer, as you were, has changed from when we spoke only a few weeks ago to now. And it's a credit to you. Is that because you have an appetite for learning? You understand that maybe there are some holes in your knowledge that you need to plug, and you're going away and just absorbing as much as you can, so that when you are put in a hot seat like this one, you're just going to be able to free flow as much as you need to?
Yeah, I think it comes from just the fact that I am a sponge. With anybody who knows more than me, I will ask them a lot of questions, and I'm constantly looking to other people for their advice, for their suggestions, for their knowledge. I have no ego when it comes to that. I have a lot of advisors. In I mean by that, I mean, like, I talk to my team about everything. I run everything by them. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what they know, because they know, they've been in the crypto space longer than me, and so they just understand things better than me. I'm constantly asking questions, constantly asking them, how do I explain this? How do I say that? What should I not say about this? Like, I'm constantly leaning on them. I ask Cyril and people like him who just have an enormous amount of knowledge in this space. I just ask them a lot of questions, and just, there's no ego in it. I don't think I know more than other people. I'm very happy to lean on other people who know more than me. And yeah, I forgot what I was going to add to that.
No, I think you've pretty much summed it up, and I think it's good for your community and potential investors to hear that. I think it's important that they understand that even if it comes off as there may be gaps, or you say that there are things that you don't know, it does come from a place of honesty, and that you are going away and trying to learn as much as you can, so that the next time you have to sit in front of somebody and answer those questions, you're going to be able to answer them, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to circle back to is a partnership, and I see that Yanni's already mentioned it, and it's a partnership that I think was formed because you didn't budge. That's my personal feeling, and I'm curious to hear what you think. But you're going to have a SafeGo one pair, and it's a SafeGo one pair that you're not going to have to pay for. And I know there was uproar in the Safer community when it was first announced, because people were very excited about this pairing, and the pricing came out, and everybody went, "Oh my goodness, we can't afford it. No one's going to be able to afford that. That means the pairing isn't going to be for us." And I think the anticipation, perhaps from the people that were announcing, was that there was going to be an immediate dump in most of the communities that they felt were reliant on this pairing. I think it was a real strength and a show of strength that you guys barely budged in that instant. And in actual fact, you've just continued upwards since. And I think that was a real turning moment and a real eye-opener for them that shows you guys are a standalone project. So now that they've had to pivot a little bit and they're now saying, right, we're going to create this free pairing for you. We're going to be the ones that are going to put in a 5K buy. What do you think that's going to do for you guys in terms of excitement, perhaps in terms of how many of their community members it's going to bring over? But at the same time, does it matter all that much to you guys? How strong are you if, for example, it didn't happen?
Babe, can you text Magley? I want her to stop calling.
You're not muted.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
My sister was calling. That's why I lost you.
Yeah, no problem. No, don't worry.
So anyways, yeah, about Seifu Go, I think what helped was I was literally just telling people, I was just being honest with them through the whole process. When we found out how much it was going to cost, I just told people, straight up, we don't have the funds for that. And so we're looking for either ways to build up the funds for it, or we're looking for other options. We're analyzing it, and we're looking at other options. So and I was just talking people through it, and they knew that. They knew that I gave up all of the team tokens, and so we have no treasury. We had no money. And so we had no budget to do anything like this. So I just talked to people just matter of factly about it. I started doing videos about it daily at the time, and I don't know. Yeah, the community just held strong, and
right.
And yeah,
and that's kind of what I'm getting at a little bit, and let's go down that path a tiny bit. Is the holding strong? I'm less interested in what you guys didn't have. I'm more interested in what you did have that stood out. And I think, in particular, the pivot to creating these free LPs is a testament to how much the strength of your community stood out against what was, as far as I'm concerned, clearly, someone trying to influence a rather small protocol, someone perhaps trying to use their name to really move the needle in their direction. And you guys didn't bite the bait. I think that's a real strength to you. Was that also playing on your mind? Was that also deliberate? Did you kind of dig your heels in a tiny bit and say, listen, one is here to stay with or without you. You do what you need to do. We're going to do what we need to do. And, if a partnership comes down the line, we'll form it. And if it doesn't, we won't.
So, yes, I just believe in OneToken. I mean, if we partnered with ESCO, then it was going to be wonderful. It was going to bring a lot of excitement. And if we didn't, we had so many other things in the works that it was literally just one of the things we were working on. So I wasn't terribly focused on it very much. I know a lot of people were super excited about it, and I was definitely, definitely we wanted to cultivate that excitement and can keep it going. But at the same time, I wasn't concerned if because we had other options, and I mentioned those options in one of my videos. I said, listen, if we can't afford to do this pairing, we'll just buy ESCO with whatever treasury funds we have, and we'll bring those profits back to One, and the community can do the same thing. You all can buy some of it as well and bring your profits back here. That was kind of where we were going, and it was going to be but yeah, I know what you mean, that OneToken stands alone. It doesn't need to stand. It doesn't need to be propped up by anything else. It can stand on its own. And I think that's definitely the case. And I think moving forward, we're going to become a very important token, in my opinion. So, this.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say this partnership is nice. And I don't know how big of a part of our of our future it will become. But I can tell you, we have so many other things in the works that it's it's hard to say what will become the biggest part, but there's so many other things.
Right.
So
No, and I think that's a healthy outlook to have, and I like how you phrase that. It's an opportunity that you have. How big it will be remains to be seen.
yeah,
Right. It's not something that, because of the way it was offered subsequently, is not something that you were going to pass up on, which is smart. But at the same time, you can thrive without it. And in fact, I think I said this to you the last time around, and I said again. I think a lot of your partnerships that you've formed are because of the way you handled that particular situation, and because you didn't jump in feet first into that partnership or do whatever it is that was going to be required of you, or perhaps hand over control in a way that you didn't want to. I think the not doing that was super important to you guys, and I think it allowed you to form the partners that you have now, and really get some smart minds helping you.
yeah. Well, that's great. If it did that, then
Right.
wonderful.
I'm distracted a little bit because I'm looking at one of your troublesome community members, Barry MC Her. I refuse to say his full name. I'm sure he would be delighted if I did. He's asking, can he be, for his own well-being, timed out at least once a day for an hour? Is that something that you could facilitate?
Yes, I think he deserves that, definitely.
Right, great. What I like about your community is that you can joke with your community members. Having that camaraderie is going to be super important for you guys. You're obviously trying to cultivate that.
Yeah.
Is it something that you guys are really working towards in terms of managing your community as a separate business, ensuring that you guys are really going to kind of dial into how they want to be communicated with, how often they might want to be communicated with? Things like, I see people sometimes might say, "Oh, I was pinged X amount of times today," and I know that's a big deal for people because they immediately might mute a Discord and not come back to it for a while. How aware are you of these things, and how much are you changing day by day to ensure that you're really working towards what the community members are putting out there?
I haven't heard anybody say that we're pinging too much. I've heard the suggestion that we are from, but I haven't heard any community members say it. They have definitely voiced their opinion on other things, which we have taken quick action on. But yeah, if we heard that from the community, we would definitely change that. I know I'm very conscientious of how many at everyone's we do on a daily basis.
Right.
So I know we should probably only be doing it twice a day, and we do it more like 5 or 6 times a day. So yeah, we do have a little bit of work in that area. But we just have so many things that we want to announce. So maybe we could try to combine announcements. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
or delay those announcements just over the course of the week, so that the excitement keeps building, because you guys have a lot going on. There's a lot of excitement. Eventually, that's going to plateau. And the reason I'm asking in terms of communication for your community is for this next bit, which is when that does start to plateau, what are you guys going to think about trying to do, or are you already thinking ahead to that plateau for when it happens, so that you can really engage the community once more and drive that excitement?
I can tell you we are thinking very far ahead, and making a lot of plans. So hopefully that plateau just never comes. But obviously, in every project has some kind of a slow period. But we are thinking ahead and just creating a lot of different, bullish news that we will be giving out at different points in the future. But I don't know. I know that Paul Dutton made a terrific YouTube video for OneToken, and one of the really kind things he said about us was that we do terrific community engagement, and I spoke to him personally, and he said, if you nail this community thing, you're going to nail DeFi. And I said, thank you very much, noted. And so yeah, we're really big on engaging with the community. We talk to them all the time, all three of us, and yeah, we want to, we like, I can tell you Lucky is terrific at getting everybody excited about stuff. He has a gift for that. So I kind of leave that in his hands. I just try to like talk to people a lot, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know.
Great. I mean, I look forward to seeing how you guys do navigate that, and I think Paul is absolutely right. He is spot on when he says that you do need to manage a community, and if you get that right, if you get that engagement correct, and if you are working with your community in the right way, then you do start to conquer the more difficult aspects of DeFi, and a strong community is what makes a project.
Yeah, absolutely.
I noticed the community does at times, and I think this is conditioned from the likes of Seifu, who had such a large community, but also such a personality type sitting at the top, whereby the notion that taking profit equals paper hands, and that people that might want to sell for whatever reason they're going to sell is bad because it means that that you guys aren't going to go to the moon, etc., etc. How do you feel about that narrative? And is it something that you guys are working towards leaning into, and you agree, like you just, you want to encourage holding for now? Or does there come a point where you say, you know what, guys, if you want to take profit, because at the end of the day, if I take profit from a protocol, I'm 100 times more likely to tell people around me that I've just taken profit than if I'm just holding on to something that might be increasing in numbers in my wallet, but I don't actually see the fruits of that holding.
I honestly have no problem with either. And I know that the community like definitely wants us to put more emphasis on holding. And we even have, competitions to kind of promote holding, and all the news that we give out, all the, bullish news that we put out is to encourage holding, to show people the value of holding. But honestly, the people that sell or that swing trade this token, I honestly have no problem with it. It gives us volume on a daily basis, and that volume is both burning our supply down and it's building up our liquidity, which are two very important things. And also, it just looks good when someone looks us up on Dex Screener and they see that we're doing between 30 and 50,000 a day. I mean, that looks a lot better than us doing, less than 10,000 a day in volume or whatnot. I just, the visual of it, I think, is very powerful. So I don't have any problem. I know where we're going. I know that we're building, and things are gonna, it's going to lend to some price appreciation. So I'm not really concerned about the taking.
Great, and I think that's a really nice thing to hear, because I think my personal feeling is that taking profits is vital. It's vital for someone to remain to be trustworthy of a project. It's vital for people's mental health at the same time, because there's nothing worse than holding on to something that may at some point go wrong, and then you lose all of those gains that you could have had. But it's also good to see actual tangible money coming into an account from a project that you like, right?
Yeah, and speaking of money coming into your account, here's some alpha for you. The next off ramp that we're going to have is actually going to be peer to peer, and that means you're going to be selling your one tokens to other people in the community that are buying one tokens. And so it is not going to register as a sell on the chart. So when you want to cash out your one tokens, it will not register as a sell. That is what we are working on.
And that's very exciting, right? That's going to be huge for you guys.
Yeah.
And then, even if that wasn't the case, you mentioned a big sell that happened yesterday. I mean, if you were to take the bottom of that sell up till now, you're up 16% already just since yesterday. And in actual fact, that $5,000 or $4,500 sell brought you down a very small amount by comparison. You know, so you guys are getting stronger and stronger. And at the same time, I think it's worth, you know, they always say, don't they, that if in doubt, zoom out. I think it's worth people zoom out a tiny bit. And it's one of the rhetorics that I've kept trying to push when I've been pushing this particular Q&A. And I've mentioned it in your channel a couple of times, that it's good for people to understand just how high up you guys are from the bottom right now. And you've come an awfully long way, right?
Yeah. It is funny because we hit like $1.60. Let me see when we did that. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but we hit $1.60 very recently. And then we kind of were coasting at $1.20 for a little while, and now we're like at $1.03. And people think that there were a couple people commenting saying, you know, why is the price plummeting? And it's like 1 week ago we were at 40 cents. Now we're holding over $1. Like the price is not plummeting. It's just this is the normal step ups, you know, that you take in building a project. So yeah, zooming out can definitely be very helpful to calm your nerves a little bit when you know, with these short term profit takings and whatnot.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think encouraging, like Barry's just said, you know, you need those swing traders or swingers, as he likes to call them, is great, because it is, you know, it is going to, as you've already said, give you the volume that you need. You're going to get noticed in various other places that really, if someone picks up on it and the right person picks up on it and perhaps tweets about it, you know, or does a video on YouTube about it, you know, you could get picked up and this could really fly. And I think that's always something that people should pay attention to, because, you know, any token that is just going up in one straight line and doesn't ever come down is more often than not a rug. The fact that this doesn't have that pattern is something that you guys should be super proud of, because it means that, yes, it's come down a bit, but you've built yourselves up slowly but surely. And, you know, it isn't something that is going to rug, especially as you're deepening your liquidity as you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree. And the other thing is, I've had people in the community ask me to change the tax structure. And I am completely opposed to that, because first off, I think the tax structure is perfect. It's a 1% tax on buys, sells, and transfers. And what that does is it makes you have the potential to enter and exit with very little penalty. There are a lot of protocols out there that, I mean, you have to really think hard before you buy and think really hard before you sell, because you're going to get hit with like 10% plus in taxes and each time. So if it's on buys and sell, I mean, and there are other protocols that are even higher than that, or they'll have like a low buy tax but a high sell tax. All of these taxes, and I understand that they all have very specific utilities for those specific projects, and you know, they make them work, but they all impact the mentality, you know, of people when they're buying and selling, because the higher the taxes, the less volume you're going to see. That's just all there is to it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think you're spot on, and I don't think you guys should even remotely consider changing the structure of your taxes. I understand why people might sell it. I don't think you need to, right?
Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding right now in terms of how far you guys are going. We're going to start the giveaway soon, in about 5 minutes' time. Just for everybody that's listening, you've got to be part of the One Discord in order to be able to take part of the giveaway. So if you're not in their Discord already, I highly recommend you jump in, because that'll be the only way by which you're going to be able to earn that sweet, sweet dollar. You've come a long way. There's been some lessons learned, of course. What do you think you might have done slightly different if you could launch one all over again?
Obviously, I would start with a different team. So that's the $1 million lesson that I learned very, very quickly, is that team is everything. Right. If you have a solid team backing you up, you are golden. And now that I have it, I can tell you things are running like a well-oiled machine. So that's the biggest thing to me is, solid. And that's what I've said to Eric, because I've had a few people reach out to me to give them advice because they're starting their own projects. And I just tell them, I'm like, if you have a good team, you're golden. That's it.
Right. What's interesting about that is obviously you did start with the wrong team. So, to kind of peel away a bit of a layer behind the, start with a good team. And for those that are listening that want advice in that respect, what is it about the choosing of who you work with that's changed? Because ultimately you had to make these choices, and you made those choices at the beginning. As you've moved forward, you've made different choices to work with different people, and of course you're going to be getting a lot more people, especially with the partnerships that you've formed and the people that have jumped on board to help you, and the content creators such as Serenity and Paul Dutton, who are covering your project. Fowler as well. You've got a lot of options that are going to be coming your way. So what is, when you peel away that layer, what is your new method for kind of choosing whom you might want to work with?
I see if I get along with them. That's a big thing. If our personalities don't clash in any way, then I know immediately that's a good sign. And then I just look for anything that might hint at their character. Right. If they seem like honest people, if they seem like greedy, if whatever, I look for those things. If they seem like they're generous, and you can be generous in many ways, not just with your money. You can be generous with your time, generous with your knowledge, and I'm looking at things like that. And just people who are helpful. And if they, and I don't have a checklist of all this, but I know that I look at all these things, and a person impresses me usually if they are kind, if they're easygoing, if they're generous, if they're helpful, all these things, and all of those things help me to kind of decide whether they will be a good addition as a partner. And obviously Yanni and Lucky are aces in all of those categories, and Cyril was he as well. He's just wonderful in all of those ways as well. And our partners who we are getting to know. Well, I know one of our partners very well, Blockchain Poodles, because I've known him from our community that we come from. But our new partners, I'm getting to know them, and they seem like good people. And yeah, we're just I'm talking to them, getting to know them, seeing how they talk to Lucky and Yanni as well. And that's kind of how we go about it. I can tell you, I immediately know if I am going to get along with a person or not based on their personality. If they have a very strong personality where they want to try to tell me what to do, I can tell immediately there's going to be friction there, because I don't react well to people telling me what to do. I react very well to advice, to suggestions, to people wanting to brainstorm with me. But if you're just telling me what to do, you're just going to hit a brick wall with me. And so that's one big red flag with me.
Right. Okay, good to know. And I think people listening can take that advice away. I'm going to ask you to recap shortly, what it is that the external revenue streams are, how you guys are going to start making money, because that's one of the things that people are also going to be hot on, is how are you going to sustain this? And of course, we've spoken about the partnerships that you formed, etc. Before I do that, we did this last time and it worked out tremendously. It'll be one of the very rare times that I toot our horn here at the Pillars, but we thankfully opened up the conversation to people that wanted to jump up on stage last time, and some fantastic things came from that, right? So
yeah,
let's go ahead and do that again. If anybody does want to jump up on stage, have a conversation, ask something, make a comment, Barry, if you're brave enough to come up and say something, you can be first if you like. But don't be shy. It's really an opportunity for you to speak to Oliver, or myself if you really want to. But Oliver's the main man here. You can ask him a question if you like. And the last time we did this, Serenity jumped up on stage and got the ball rolling for you guys, and helped form all these wonderful partnerships. So really don't be shy and jump up. And while we're waiting for someone to throw their hand in the air, do you just want to recap what the external revenue streams are, how you guys are planning to make money for OneToken and for the community.
Yeah, so right now our main revenue stream is the sale of our NFT collection, our whitelist NFTs, which is going very well. I think we've sold almost 200 of them. There's 500 total. So that is our entire treasury at the moment. But we are also our any-to-any widget that is on our website. We are going to get a portion of the fees from that. And once we really start pushing the marketing on that and pushing the volume on that, that's going to turn into a pretty healthy revenue stream for us. Also, the off ramp, the 2 off ramps that we have, we're going to be collecting fees from both of those. So those will be sources of revenue. Our partnership with Prisma Finance is also going to be a form of passive income. I'm still learning all the details about that, but I know that Lucky and Yanni are super excited about that, and I'm definitely feeding off that excitement. So Lucky is working on a bunch of other things, because that's kind of Lucky's mindset, is to have a lot of different sources of passive revenue coming to the project. And then we can do a lot of good with that. We can use it we're going to be buying a ton of tokens, sending a good number of them to the Null wallet to burn the supply. Going to be doing giveaways, going to be able to pay, people to help us in the Discord and whatnot. But it's all going to go back into the project. But we're working on quite a few different revenue streams.
Great. And of course, the burn wars. And making sure you guys are number 1 from that, so you can get that 15K
Absolutely.
buy, right? That 15K burn, buy and burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things I'm really hot on in terms of you guys and making sure that you do stay away from being engulfed by that previous thought of the Seifu, is that in this particular instance, unlike Seifu was all about accumulating tokens and making sure that your token count went up. Right, and everything was about how many tokens can you get. The price needs to be at this point so that I can get X amount of tokens. With One, it's about the percentage gains, and I think that's where people should start to really shift their mindset: is what percentage can your money make for you? And the one thing I will say and highlight here is that at the minute, the One token is just over $1, and when that $5,000 buy comes in, it's going to take you guys to $1.20, which is a nice, 15% increase, which is a massive amount. And if you were to win the only burns, I think it'd take you to $1.53, something to that effect. And that's what people should be looking at. That will happen, regardless of how high it's going. With the liquidity you have in a minute, $1.53 from here would be 48%. So that's, almost half your bag on top of what you already had, just by making an investment with this and you guys winning that only burn. So I think that's something that's really worth highlighting, and it shows how much potential there is for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And having such a low supply, I mean, we could, it wouldn't be too hard for us to double the price. We would just need a 1.2 million market cap to double our price right now. And the other thing is we're constantly burning the supply. We burn between 500 and 1,000 tokens a day. And I had someone in the community do the math on that, and they think that we'll be between 200 and 300,000 tokens by the time the bull market comes around, which, assuming it comes in a year, I guess. So there's that. And just the things we're working on, with this off ramp. And we're going to be promoting that. So there's just a lot of things. We're going to be putting out some more NFT projects. So just and with the SGO pairing, that's likely going to give us a nice pump in price. So there's a lot of things that we're working on to cause some price appreciation.
Right. Yeah, it's exciting time for you guys, and I think those. Still now, you guys can have those swing traders. There's a lot of opportunity to make money here, just by purchasing that token at any stage, really. So, for anybody kind of sitting on the fence waiting for a massive dip, I'm never going to give financial advice, and I don't side with any particular token at any time, due to the nature of where I sit with asking the questions. I can tell everybody that although it appears I'm asking particularly tough, rigorous questions, I am invested in one. That doesn't mean that I won't ask the tough questions. In fact, I want to ask tougher questions because it's my money that's on the line. But I also know that if my wallet with one makes a 50% increase, I'll be a happy man. So that's worth looking at. Barry threw his hand in the air for a second, and then probably got cold feet, I think. Does anybody want to jump up on stage and say a few words? I know you're itching to, Serenity, but I also know you're busy, so you might not on this occasion. I'll give it another minute. Otherwise, just some final words from yourself, Oliver.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me again. You do a terrific job with these AMAs. The way that you craft your questions and it's just I just want to compliment you because you really put out a really really good interesting AMA, and so I appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can tell you it makes it very easy for me as the invited invitee. So thank you very much for that. We're working on a ton of things, and I'm telling you, if I could tell you everything, I would, but I don't want to get in trouble with the people that we are working with, and I don't want to undo any of the tremendous work that Lucky is doing behind the scenes, because he's the one that's constantly talking and doing negotiations and whatnot. He's just a master at it, and we are working on some really, really big stuff. So we're just going to keep. We might try to roll this stuff out at an even pace instead of just throwing it all on you at one time. Maybe we'll do that.
Right. Yeah. Just always leave people wanting more. Right. When people want more, they want to come back. Oliver, thank you so much. Very high praise. It's been a pleasure speaking to you on both occasions.
Thank you.
I really look forward to the time when you book another one with us and say, look, we want to come back on because we've got a ton more to say. I think that's going to be a very exciting day for yourself, maybe, but very much for myself, because it will be. It's really nice that we were able to bring someone in for a Q&A, and we're able to, by sheer chance, bring someone on stage that was able to help you, because it really is what we're all about here. It's the ethos that you have. It's about helping people, right? People can win in this space as long as they're working together, and I think you guys are a real testament to what teamwork and collaboration can achieve. So, long may it continue.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. That's what
pleasure. It's been great chatting. I hope you guys listening enjoyed it. Please do jump into the One Discord if you're not in there already. Click that button for the giveaway, and you'll stand a chance of winning $25.
Awesome.
All right, Oliver. You have a good day, dude.
Thank you. You too.
Take care.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.